making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high, riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high, riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high, riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high, riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high, riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just
Well, fuck. Welcome to the live stream, Crypto Paradise fam friends and degens all around the globe. What's going on, guys? It has been a rough last couple of days. If you've been following the crypto markets at all for the last, 2 weeks even, it's been bad news after bad news after bad news. I think a week ago we were looking at the positive side of the fact that we had essentially 4 major crypto events within about a week's time. There was the CZ Binance rug, as some are calling it, where he didn't necessarily fully endorse but tweeted out some pictures of him and his dog Broccoli after talking about getting meme coins going on Binance. That turned into a rug. There was a very famous Libra scandal involving the Argentina president. There was the Meteora incident where they are now showing insider trading and all the malfeasance that was going on that platform. And then most recently, like what was it, Friday, I think last week, we had the Bybit hack, the largest hack in history, $1.4 billion, and all the fallout that's been happening around that. And but despite that, the market's held strong. We were still at 96K with all of that FUD, with all of that craziness going on in the market. I was as bullish as I think I've ever been in recent history. And then 2 days ago, haven't been able to pinpoint an exact catalyst for this. Maybe it's just accumulation of things. Maybe it's market manipulation behind the scenes to try and recoup some of these funds. We'll definitely be talking about what's causing this crash that we've seen in the last couple of days. But Bitcoin dumping under 90K, currently sitting at around $87,000. 86,000, pushing down further. Not looking great. Closing under some major trend lines. We're about to close out the month here in a little under 2 days. And we are way below the low even of January. So trend is always your friend in the bull run until it's not, and it's starting to not look so hot for the trend. We're going to be covering all of that and more, as well as how you can get your hands on some great project tokens for free in the Crypto Paradise mini app. Before we get started, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Bybit, up to $30,000 sign up bonus. You use our link that you can find on the X page. Mr. Hitman, welcome. It's been a it's been a year in the last month in crypto. How you doing, man?
Yeah, it sucks. It's not fun. Nobody likes to see everything going down in red. Like you said, after all those negative things, Bitcoin was still hovering at $96,000 to $100,000, which is pretty crazy. But the bottom did fall out yesterday in the past 2 days, and we're seeing it across stocks as well, which isn't helping Bitcoin at all. Stocks are in the red. Coinbase is in the red. Everything's in the red. And, well, like you said, if we finish these next 2 days of this month down around these levels, this would be the worst performing February in a very, very, very long time for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And obviously the Ethereum underperformance is why altcoins are continuing to underperform in a massive way. So, hold on tight. We'll see what happens. No, I don't think the bull market is over. There's too much going on behind the scenes. Yes, there is some government official meetings today going on for the Digital Asset Committee. So we'll see what comes out of that over the next few days. And, I can't really pinpoint what the sell-off is. I think it's over leverage or in the buy bed and everything accumulated together that is calling the sell-off. And we have seen that some people in the traditional markets, $100 million worth of Bitcoin and about $45 million with the ETH to Coinbase Exchange. What that is, that means individual investors are probably selling their ETF and BlackRock has to pay them out for those shares. That happened yesterday as well. So people are panic selling. Now, remember, it used to just be retailers here in the crypto market that would cause these pumps and these dumps because they're panic selling. Now you have traditional market individuals who are used to 10% gains a year seeing price action like this. So obviously they're going to be panicky as well and not holding tight on those ETFs unless they're being managed by a financial advisor.
Yeah, and before we dive too much into some of the doom and gloom and maybe what's causing this, what some of the catalysts are for this dump, I want everybody to notice that both the Hitman and myself, we've got the glasses back on today because despite what's going on in the markets, the future is still bright. That is not to be understated. I don't think either of us are bearish on Bitcoin, on the markets long term. And we'll talk a little bit about our personal views on where things are going to go in the short and medium term. But long term, I think when we're talking the outlook for the rest of 2025, I'm pretty sure we all are still sitting pretty bullish on what's happening here. But you just mentioned the Bitcoin ETF outflows definitely having playing a factor in this. You can see the article here. Bitcoin ETFs experiencing a record $1 billion single day outflow. What are some going to be kind of the long-term impacts? How do you see it playing out, both the upside and downside, with as you mentioned, having the traditional markets a part of the crypto game now?
I mean, with the spot ETFs and stuff, obviously they're very good, but with the institutional investors in, they're going to be hedging and doing more things. People thought that might dampen volatility because there's going to be bigger players on both sides of the trade. But essentially, I think this just keeps things in line. Obviously, decreased volatility happens. I was talking to CZ on Twitter. Decreased volatility happens when Bitcoin price and liquidity pools get thicker and thicker, but that's at much higher prices. Here, I think this is normal volatility. Last bull market, we saw 20%, 30% corrections, like 8 of them, all the way up from, whatever we're at, 3,500 to 69,000 Bitcoin. I expect the same is going to happen here, and that's kind of what we're seeing with the sell-off here as well. Those institutional investors, if anything, are going to be more volatile and more emotional around Bitcoin assets. Like I said, unless it's a financial advisor or a company putting it on their books like MicroStrategy or these Japanese companies or whoever it may be, these individuals, investors, these are people like me and you who just happen to be older or be in the 401k system who are putting money into these ETFs. They're used to, and their goal is 10% gains per year from the stock market, and they are seeing 10% daily swings in the Bitcoin market, of course they're going to have emotions. They're going to buy and sell. And whenever they do that, BlackRock has to sell the spot. It's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is when people are buying in, they need to take a finite supply asset like Bitcoin and Ethereum off the market and hold it. But the curse is when people sell their shares, they got to go sell that finite supply asset as well to the market to pay back those investors in the cash that they want.
Yeah, seeing drops like this during a bull market is absolutely part of the game, absolutely normal. I think that this is the time of the market cycle where we need to exercise patience and caution, and look at this as an opportunity to pick up some of our favorite projects at rock bottom prices. Now, in terms of you personally, whether you're trying to sell into this dip and thinking it's going lower or to try and buy lower, whether you're trying to hold through this, that is a personal decision. I think everybody here at Crypto Paradise, we all have different opinions on how we're going to be playing this. But if you look back here, as you can see, this is this is last bull cycle in 2021. We peaked in April at $65,000, just under $65,000, and we dropped all the way down. I think the low was just under $30,000. And that took a period of was April to June there. So pretty much straight down for the months of May and June, and then kind of hung around sideways before it slowly started to creep up later on in that summer. So these dips, and that was about a 70% correction from 68 down to under 30, or excuse me, it was a 60 something percent correction. So these can happen in the middle of bull markets. We've had 40, 50, 60% corrections in every single bull cycle so far. So this is not uncommon. Is it painful? Hell yes. Does it catch you by surprise? Of course it does. But there's nothing but patience we can exercise here and try to make the best plays for ourselves based on our personal risk tolerance, based on our trading abilities. But just understand, this Bitcoin can go a lot lower here. We're down, I think, about a little over 20% from the 108 all-time high right now. But we can go a lot lower yet. We could easily see another 20 to 30% drop from where we're at now. Does that mean the cycle is over? Like Nick just mentioned, absolutely not. But does that mean this spring and summer could get very, very boring and painful? Yeah, absolutely it could.
Yeah, and I'm in the camp that's saying that's not going to happen. I think we're near a low right now. I don't think, people now, everybody's saying, oh, we're going to 60, 65, 70. No, we're not. I just don't think we are. I think there's too much going on in the markets, too many bullish things, catalysts coming up, and where we are in the market cycle. If that happened, the entire market cycle, the 4-year market cycle strategy is broken, gone. So this will be the first time that we don't have that 4-year cycle. It'd be way too deep. And you're leading into all the catalysts with, like you said, you have global FOMO from countries coming. That's what people don't understand. It's like, the hype from Trump winning is wearing off. Remember, leading into the election, we were at like $50,000 Bitcoin. We're still at 85. So a little bit of that hype and FOMO's wearing off because we don't have a strategic reserve yet. But we have literally the SEC every day is dismissing cases. Yesterday, they dismissed a case against Uniswap. Day before, Coinbase. Day before that, it was Robinhood. So it's like, if you look at what's going on, it's not matching with what the prices you're seeing on the chart. And also right now for miners, it costs about $94,000 on average per Bitcoin to mine it, and it's valued at $85,000. That's a gap in the market. So it's either one of two ways. If we stay down here too long, you can argue miners are going to have to sell undervalued Bitcoin. It's going to push price lower. Or you can look at it as the biggest opportunity, the biggest gap in arbitrage pricing is staring you in the face. You probably should be buying $85,000 Bitcoin because miners are paying $94,000 to mine that same Bitcoin. So I'm not anti-bullish. I'm still very bullish. I don't think we're in the same part of the market cycle that you shared where we topped out and then we dipped and then we top out again. I think we're probably before even that original top in the January where we saw that 25% drawdown before the explosive move to new all-time highs. So could we be wrong? Sure, we could be. But I've still been saying 244,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. Now I was right by saying 100,000 by the end of 2024. So we'll see if that repeats itself. I think a lot of people are getting shaken out. I think we're seeing a ton of fear on the timeline. Everybody's calling for 60 and 65,000 Bitcoin. And when that happens, that means we're not going to get there. So can we go lower? Could there be a wick? Sure. I hope not. Or if we do get a wick, I hope it's one of those quick ones where you cascade down to 79,000. Nobody actually is able to buy it, and then it bounces back up over the course of 12 hours. Everybody's afraid, saying we're going to go lower, and then we just go up and to the right. So we'll see what happens.
A lot of us are hoping that that it happens as well. I personally kind of a bit of the other camp. I think we do potentially see lower and just a long kind of spring here, and then start to creep up again in the summer. But there is some definitely some bullish stuff in. Depending who you ask, some bearish things out there to consider. As always, none of this is financial advice. This is us providing information, giving you perspective to go and do your own research. Something on the bullish side, there's a lot of talk about the M2 money supply, liquidity, essentially cash in the markets around the world, and how that's been affecting Bitcoin. And they've been pretty highly correlated, as you can see by this chart here. But M2 seems to front run Bitcoin a little bit. And as you can see, that dip that we're seeing right now playing out very perfectly, but the M2 money supply has bounced very sharply and pumped back up. So, I mean, this chart here would agree with what you're saying, Hitman, that we have reached this bottom right about where we're at now. And we should start to see a climb back up if this correlation with the M2 money supply and Bitcoin continues to hold true. So definitely, things to consider for both sides
and,
there.
With that, I saw somebody post that the delay on the M2 money supply was somewhere in the 42 days or 45 days or something like that. Which means that you should start seeing price appreciation in the next move for the bull market in early March. The estimation is March 6th. Remember, these are fluid. It goes from 40 to 50 days, so who knows? But it will tell you what Nate said is the bottom is near. And don't have any fear here. The bottom's near, and early March is when things continue up and to the right. It shook out a bunch of people, and you get left behind. So could we go lower? Yeah, I'm looking at the charts. Obviously, Bitcoin looks pretty heavy here. Stocks are down a little bit today. But we are seeing something interesting today, and that is that altcoins are green. We see Rune up 7%, Litecoin up 9%, Floki up 3%, Pulse Chain assets up 5%. So that's kind of odd considering Coinbase is down, Bitcoin is down, MicroStrategy is down, that these altcoins are finally starting to see a little bit of green. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if Bitcoin can find some footing. And if Bitcoin goes lower, you don't really have any major support all the way down to $77,000. If something like that were to happen, I think that would be one of those quick wicks where nobody actually gets filled at those levels and it bounces back hard. That's just my opinion. And hopefully the money supply continues to expand, turn the printers back on, make it go burr so we can all make some more money. Another reason why I say, I think crypto markets are just getting started and the bull market isn't over, whether that's the short term, midterm, I don't care. I'm talking in the long term, is because we are seeing collectibles go up in value again. And for those cards or collectibles, when collectibles started going up back in COVID era, that marked the bottom for stocks and that marked the bottom for Bitcoin. Collectibles and trading card games and that hobby really front run the expansion of the markets. So does that happen again? I'm not sure, but all I know is there's lines at all your Targets and Walmarts buying up all the Pokemon cards. And last time that happened, it's kind of a weird indicator. That was the start of the bull market last cycle.
Another thing that we've got coming out today, or maybe has already come out, I haven't seen anything of it, but the NVIDIA earnings report are out today. We've seen what those numbers have done to the AI charts in the past and altcoins, in general, but especially any sort of AI altcoins. I'm trying to find, have those numbers popped?
That's going to be, that's going to be, it says aftermarket. So it has a moon by it, which means it's going to be after the market closes. So you still got, quite a few hours before that information comes out. But yes, normally if they do well, that does well for other semiconductor stocks. So you could look at stocks like AMD, but it's also done well for AI cryptos, which could help spur some of the altcoins. And maybe that's why some of these altcoins are holding levels here. RLC is only down a couple percent. RNDR is actually up 1%, even though Bitcoin is going to new lows. And we do see NVIDIA bounced from yesterday's low of 124 to currently 130. So maybe insiders are speculating that they're going to beat those earnings numbers. We shall see.
All right, well, let's see if Jensen Huang can pump our bags today, or if he's here to continue pushing the dump down.
Yeah, if NVIDIA misses earnings, it's going to make the NASDAQ go down after market, and that could be what drives Bitcoin lower. Because at least for a day or two, there's going to be the speculation that NVIDIA is going to continue down lower. Here's the thing. NVIDIA is going to be okay, even if they miss earnings, but it is going to push some short-term pain if they miss. I do know with their new graphics cards, they were having some issues. I believe it was in some of the smaller Asian markets where some of them were breaking up when trying to update. So that could be the one thing I am concerned of. But you normally are on a one-quarter lag, so maybe that information doesn't get in these earnings. It gets in the next earnings, which would be very beneficial to us as the market needs some kind of rally here. Not bad news.
Trump also recently announced further restrictions on Chinese-made chips, so that also could contribute to positive factors for NVIDIA. We will see.
That's another thing. I know this is a crypto show primarily, but I am trying to figure out American companies, American-made semiconductor companies. If you listen to Trump, all right, he's a wanderer. He has the weave and then tries to weave it back. But he is telling you exactly what he is going to do, and he has said he wants to make America the home of semiconductors. Right now, that is Taiwan. So I'm looking for America-based companies for semiconductors. AMD is probably one of the biggest ones, along with NVIDIA. We want them to keep bringing jobs here. They're going to get tax benefits. They're going to get corporate breaks if they build semiconductors here in America, and those companies will do well over this next 4 years. Because why? Because everything uses semiconductors. AI uses semiconductors. Cars use semiconductors. Your phone uses semiconductors. Those companies are going to benefit from the biggest economy in the world, which is America, buying their product and them getting government subsidies for building here. So I'm looking forward. If you guys have any ideas on your American-made semiconductor companies, let me know. Even if they're small caps, I'll take a gamble and throw some money at those.
Speaking of, let's take a quick look here. A quick caveat. We've got, let me turn the, looks like we've got about 94 people watching right now. If you don't mind, if you're liking what you're hearing, if it made you laugh, or if you just want to support the channel, make sure to give a like, leave a comment, and retweet the live stream here. We really appreciate it. It absolutely is the biggest factor that helps this channel grow, is when we get those engagements, those interactions. So if you're liking what you're hearing today, if you want to tune in next week, if you have stuff you want us to cover, leave a comment, retweet it, and let us know. We'll be sure to cover that. If not today, then in an upcoming live stream. But anyways, appreciate everybody out there watching and listening right now. None of this happens without any of you. Speaking of some interesting stuff happening in the last couple days, yesterday, CZ tweeting out, waiting for the new headline, Bitcoin crashes from 1,001,000 to 985,000, saved the tweet. Obviously talking about this previous tweet he made 5 years ago. Pretty amazing prediction there. But our very own Mr. Nick Hellman, the crypto hitman, getting a reply, multiple back and forth there with the man CZ himself.
Shout out to CZ for the 200,000 impressions. It's crazy the power of a big Twitter X following does. My gosh. One reply to him, he replies back talking about volatility as Bitcoin gets bigger, and it creates hundreds of thousands of impressions. Pretty wild.
Amazing.
But CZ's followed me for a long time, so that's, I think I got the CZ blessing because I was really early when BSC chain was getting launched, so I went heavy in BNB at like $9 and Cake around $2 on the way to 45, and kind of supported that ecosystem. It was one of the very first, for you guys who missed it, there was a DeFi summer and everything was DeFi. BNB and BSC chain was really the first ones for low cost DeFi, and then Polygon and some of these other ones really followed along and launched all these different dexes. So that's when I got his follow. I still have his follow. So if the interns of CZ are watching this, don't unfollow me, please, this cycle. And I'll still I'll keep giving a shout out to BNB, which has been one of the best performers, by the way. BNB over the past 4 years is up like 20 something X compared to a lot of other altcoins that are up a couple X maybe. So BNB has still been a great place to hold. And they have one of my favorite meme coins on that network, which is Floki. We've gotten great price action out of Floki, up about 44X at the highs, and a bunch of airdrops from them. So you got to love BSC. They just stay in the game, and that's because their ties to Binance, which still remains the largest crypto exchange in the world, even after CZ had to serve a short sentence in prison.
Yeah, it shows the power of great leadership. That's names in crypto and managed to stay that way, stay on top, and have a major impact on our industry. So, shout out to CZ, shout out to Binance. Before we move on to some others. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna finish. CZ tried to warn us about FTX, and it was so messed up that he even couldn't buy it. They talked about buying it. There was a little bit of a debacle around that, but he did try to warn us. And CZ did just help bail out Bybit, guys. This was the biggest hack ever in history. It could have imploded and made these markets even more red. CZ sent some of his personal BNB to Bybit, and Binance sent some funding on a loan to Bybit, which has now already been all repaid over the past few days. So it's great that Bybit was liquid, already repaid their loans, even with the market downturn turmoil. And maybe, people do speculate maybe Bybit had to sell some assets to cover those losses. That is a possibility as well.
Well, and speaking of leadership, Ben Zhou, I think is his name. I could be pronouncing that wrong. the CEO over there at Bybit. I mean, talk about a masterclass in how to deal with a situation like this from moment one when this was starting to be reported on. They knew about it. He was public and transparent, posting about things, assuring people funds were safe, explaining what was going on. Whereas we've seen hacks like this in the past, it's often radio silence from the project, from the team, which causes more panic, more FUD, and pushes markets further and further down. I think that's a big part of why that hack didn't have as big of an impact as people were expecting, is because of how well their team came out and handled this to show that they were dealing with it, and that despite the fact that being a massive hack, $1.4 billion, they are so well funded. They're such a huge platform. They're able to cover this and keep it from having a major impact on their users and the market as a whole. So shout out to Bybit and their leadership team, the C-suite over there, for absolutely making the best of a terrible situation with what was going on there. Obviously a very elaborate scheme, extremely well funded. The Lazarus team, suspected or proven now to be out of North Korea. They're behind multiple attacks, not just on Web3 but on traditional banks as well over the past few years. So very sophisticated operation. This wasn't a standard crypto scam with one or two people behind it. These are extremely well-funded government organizations seeking to disrupt the Western industries. So, shout out to the Bybit crew, one of our main sponsors here on the channel, for just absolutely handling this situation with class and with transparency.
It looks like you're on to the next topic here.
Yeah,
What's up with Mark Davis over here?
Before we kind of move out of the realm of Bitcoin, we have our different opinions regardless of what happens with Bitcoin, and even where Bitcoin is now. Probably got a lot of you feeling like this right now. The old you've been in crypto 5 years, you must be rich stereotype. If you're feeling crushed, if your bags are down, if you've grinded it out this long, don't give up now. This is it's always darkest before dawn. Stick out the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, whatever it turns out to be. Even if this which again, neither of us believe in this, let's say this is the end of the cycle. And we go into a new bear market, which we don't believe is what's happening here. I don't think very many people in this industry do at all believe that. But even if that happens, crypto is not dead. There's going to be, continue to grind, continue to learn, educate yourself on this industry. Millionaires are made in the bear markets. That's your best opportunity to get in on high quality positions for the upcoming bull market. So regardless of what happens, do not lose hope here. Stick out the hard times, because the good times will follow. So make sure, regardless, stay safe out there. We will all get through this. Did I lose you there, Nick? Are you back? I'm not sure. Nick, do we got you? Lost your audio. Let me give a quick look on the live feed, what we got. Nick, can you hear me? I can see you talking. Let me check your audio. Go ahead, try again.
Yo, yo, yo.
There we go. Got you back. All right. Minor technical difficulties. Yesterday, our TA Tuesday was stopped by some technical difficulties, but getting things figured out here. Taking a look at some of the other news in the market here. A lot of stuff kind of already covered. People calling for 70K. Bitcoin talking about all kind of reasons why it could dip that low. Talked a little bit about why that's probably not going to happen, in Nick's opinion. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle here. I'm kind of hedging my bets, playing it safe either way. I'm trying to stack up some dry powder if it does, but holding on my positions in case it doesn't, looking for new opportunities. And speaking of new opportunities, this is kind of going back to where you get millionaires are made in the bear market. In crashes like this, a great strategy. This is coming from James Bull, great account to follow. Some good analysis and great calls on a lot of coins, pointing out there's 17 coins completely unaffected by this crash. Looking at coins that either dip and recover very quickly or are more or less unaffected by crashes like this are a great signal of a very strong fundamental project, right? These are the kind of things you want to be looking for and hunting for in times like this. Some of the coins he's pointing out on here, IP, Hyper, very hyped up project. Jupe, one of the biggest and most legitimate dexes on Solana. Quant, a project from last cycle dealing with, I believe they're a DeFi and AI project. Virtuals, Kaido, newly launched, I believe they're an L1 or an L2. Polygon somehow hanging in there, one of the dinosaur coins. The classic fart coin, ARC, I believe, is an AI play. A lot of these kind of rounding out the top here are AI and meme coins. So these are the type of projects you want to be looking for, or again, high conviction projects that you studied and thoroughly vetted and researched and believe are long-term hodls. These are the times you can buy those dips. What is your kind of strategy when looking at dips like this to allocate in? Nick, are you DCAing in, being careful, looking for a potential lower dip, or how do you play these kind of situations?
I mean, this is essentially just talking about the philosophy of Wyckoff, which Todd Butterfield owns Wyckoff Stock Market Institute, where you're looking for the strongest assets in strong sectors. So if you look at a pre-dip, what was the strongest sectors, say AI and meme coins? Now that the dip has happened, you want to narrow it down to those two sectors and then find assets in those two sectors that are performing the best during the downturn. And those are the assets that you should then take a deeper look at the chart, look at the fundamentals, and see if it fits your portfolio and your risk parameters, because those are probably assets that when the market turns around will outperform many others. So that's kind of the strategy there. So yeah, that's a strategy that we try to implement. And, about DCAing, sometimes you just got to, try to catch a falling knife if you truly believe and have conviction when things are going this red. But yeah, we're using a DCA strategy for Coinbase right now. For example, we sold our Coinbase stock position at higher levels, and we've been buying back in 25% increments. We're 75% long here, and I kind of was hoping Bitcoin would go another $1,000 lower today, and we would fill the gap over on the stock market for Coinbase, for example, around $198, and we buy back the remaining of our position. And it's like, well, Nick, if you think or you have high conviction that Coinbase is going to drop to 200, why would you DCA in? Because you can't try to find the exact bottom on these things. That's how you get left behind. So if you sold an asset at higher levels, an asset that you love, you have conviction on for the long term, start buying back 10% increments or 25% increments just in case the bottom comes sooner than you think. And at least you get 75% of your position back leading into the bull market. You don't want to be caught, or I'm going to be 100% in cash. I'm going to pick the exact low, and then I'll ride Bitcoin to 244,000. That's not how the market works. That's how it never works, and that's how you get left behind. And you can say, what the heck? I am so bullish on Bitcoin and Coinbase. Why didn't I own any of this when things are 5x higher from here? And that's how you do it. You try to get too greedy. You try to find the exact low with your entire bag. So don't be afraid to start getting into positions at 10 and 25% at a time, even if you think the downside objective is still lower. If you sold it higher, it's all profit you're playing with, and you're trying to get your portfolio allocation back in line with what you want for the long term, not just the short term volatility.
Absolutely. Always goes back to the long term. This is not a get-rich-quick industry, despite what your friends at the bar are telling you. This is like anything else. You got to work at it. I mean, Nick, you've been in this industry for like what, a decade now almost? I've been doing this for over 4 years now.
2016, 2017.
Yeah,
and I've done well. But here's the thing. I'm not sitting here. If I was that wealthy, I'd be on a mega yacht not doing this. I don't need to do this. But the fact of the matter is it's a passion, number one. And number two, you have bills. So it's like I've been fortunate to do well enough to own a house, have a kid, have cars, have fun, have trips. But that doesn't mean that bills don't come forward. That doesn't mean that I'm only in my 30s. I still have a long life to live. So got to keep working, keep working on your own passions, keep stacking up cash, keep making good investments. And there's really never enough when it comes to money. And people will say, what do you mean there's never enough? 99% of people watching this, there's never enough. Sure, if you're the Elons and the Bezos of the world, maybe that's enough for you. But you don't get there by not being a grinder or hustler and really working. So just keep working at the game, keep stacking up cash. And the main goal for many of you, if you believe in this, there's never enough because you always need more Bitcoin. It's a finite supply. And if you believe in the long term and you have plenty of cash to live and travel, okay, then use your excess to just stack more Bitcoin.
Absolutely. It's not about greed either. Think about what you want to accomplish with your life, what your goals are, what good you can do for your community, the people around you, your country, your state, whatever that happens to be, whatever altruistic aspirations that you have. If you have more money, money's a tool. You can do more of it with that tool. So, it's not necessarily about, I'm greedy, I want more of this, I want, more yachts, blah, 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 blah. Sure, there's nothing wrong with buying and having nice things, but at the end of the day, it's a tool to be used to help out, whether it's your family, your friends, your community, etc. So, real quick, we got, it looks like almost 130 people viewing. Appreciate everybody tuning in here. Give us a like, give us a retweet. We're taking a look right now. What are some of the strongest projects holding up during this dip here? comment below. Let us know. What are you looking at right now? What are you looking to DCA into while we're getting this buying opportunity, this dip? Give us some comments. I know I'm still bullish on a ton of the AI projects we talked about before. Palm is back down in the 30s. I'll be buying up some more Palm, probably some more GPU, probably some other top AI projects, maybe even some of the larger, higher market cap, the bluer chips within the AI space, because those are the premium projects in this space, and they're on fire sale right now. So I'm looking at a few gaming projects, some RWA plays, a lot of hype around RWA before this crash. I think as we come back, that's going to continue to be one of the biggest trends. So leave us a comment, let us know, give us a retweet, and tag your favorite project that you're looking into right now to scoop while we have this buying opportunity in play.
Yeah, talking about that, I think you probably have value on RNDR. That thing went from like $12 down to $3.50, one of the biggest AI plays. You probably have value on Aave, AAVE. The thing was holding up super strong before this recent dip. The thing was holding in the 300s while Bitcoin was doing nothing. So that's interesting. I don't own any of that one, but that one is an interesting chart for sure. And then also RLC for kind of a mid-cap AI play that is on Coinbase and everything else. That one's still holding here around 115, 120, holding previous lows while Bitcoin broke to new lows. And that one is coming from something like $3 or $4 down here to 116. So that's probably a value as well in that AI sector.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at some of the charts on these in the 1 month, I just had Aave up a minute ago. Aave, a couple weeks back was at 350, down around 200. Looking at RLC now, just within the last month, back at the beginning of February, was up over almost up to $2. Now down around $1.17. So absolutely, let me take a look. One of the big most talked about AI tokens, BitTensor, TAO. Same kind of story here. Well, we've seen some bounces here. I guess holding up pretty well despite what's going on. I mean, still definitely a dip, down from 476 to 374. So, if we want to look from a market cap perspective, which is typically what I'm looking at here, from a 4 billion down to a 3 billion in the last market cap in the last couple of days, 25% discount there for you. So, if you've had some projects that you're kicking yourself, why didn't I start buying earlier? Well, now might be the time to start doing that. Again, never financial advice on this channel, but these are the kind of strategies that make you the big bags in the long run here.
Yeah, we really just need NVIDIA to beat earnings here, because we see NASDAQ just bounced off the 200 moving average and is up now 1% for the day. Bitcoin just bounced from that 85,000 level back into above 87. So if we can get some follow through, some either good news from Senator Lumens in the United States, good news from NVIDIA earnings, or China finally unbanning crypto, maybe we can get some footing and at least get some price action to the upside here.
Maybe China saves us. Wouldn't that be?
Hey, the money supply going up. A lot of that is China. China has been printing dollars. I don't know the ins and outs of the Chinese government, but their money supply is outpacing everybody globally, and that's what really is driving M2 money supply up. Well, so if Bitcoin does in fact,
I think part of that is, and like anything in when it comes to finances, perception is reality. But from what I understand, the big push in the Chinese money supply in the last 2 weeks is because they recalculated the way they calculate, the way they push that number out. So it's not that from the Chinese side, anyways, what we're seeing is probably not actual more new flows of liquidity and more cash coming into the market. Hey. It is much like what they did with the inflation rates in the U.S. to make the party in power look better. They recalculated how they set up that number, that statistic, so that it looks better for those in power.
Hey,
so
I'll take the Fugazi money as long as it is expanding the money supply and that gets some people to have risk on assets. Buy Bitcoin, please. Thank you.
Let's hope it's not setting us up for a bigger kick in the nuts down the road here.
We just need another year of bull market, and we'll all be looking good. Cash out some profits, get into some physical assets, and then they can kick us in the nuts, and we can ride a bear market for a little bit.
Well, we got a few more minutes here before we typically wrap this up with an hour. We got a lot of more viewers in here, 137 viewers going right now. Thanks to everybody that's tuning in. Again, appreciate the like, retweet, leave us a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the market, how you're surviving the dip, what you're buying. Would love to hear from you guys there. None of this is possible without you guys. A couple of things that we could get into that have been big topics this week. Obviously, with the Bybit hack, one of the first things everybody said was, okay, how are they going to even benefit from this? How are they going to liquidate this money? All of it's on chain. Any exchange you try to send it to is going to instantly freeze that money, et cetera, et cetera. Well, again, I think this is the Lazarus Group. These guys aren't amateurs. These are very well-funded, and they set up very intricate scams here to liquidate these funds, and they had plans in place. We've seen them do things. As you can see here, the Bybit hacker, they've laundered 335 million of that 1.4 billion. I mean, that's almost 25% of the cash. Actually, what is that? That's that's close to 25% of the entire value that they hacked. That's a lot of liquidity that they were not supposed to be able to move. One of the ways we've seen them doing that is they're launching shit coins, they're launching meme coins on pump.fun and extracting liquidity.
Wow, that's crazy.
Through pump.fun.
That's crazy.
Which, I've seen a lot of people talking about, we need to shut down pump fun, we do this. This is kind of the duality of a decentralized market. You get the benefits of a decentralized market, and there's also things like this that can happen. Now, what's the solution to that? Is it shutting down pump.fun? Is it killing things like Tornado Cash and other decentralized outlets? No, not in my opinion. I think we need to step up and not lean on these antiquated agencies that we have, these centralized agencies that we have, like the SEC, et cetera, to protect us in these cases. We need solutions. We need processes for reciprocity, processes for better dissemination of information, et cetera, for these decentralized tools. If we had a system where on these decentralized platforms, whether that's a DEX or something like pump.fun, where they can show, just like they can track and post that, this is money coming from Lazarus Group making this shit coin on here, don't invest in it, right? There's ways that we can get better accountability methods into this industry without just coming out and saying across the board, decentralization is bad, kill decentralization. That's what the root of this entire industry is based on, is giving power and freedom back to individuals. If you start doing things like shutting down pump.fun, going after tornado caches, it's not long before this industry is going to be exactly the same as the web or the TradFi industry, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to accomplish in this industry. I don't know what your thoughts are on this. I just saw a lot of really negative vibes coming out as the Lazarus Group getting very creative with how they're liquidating these funds using decentralized platforms.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We've always been saying that, hey, pump.fun is extracting value from the many and giving it to the few. And now you're seeing it at the highest level with hackers being able to extract value there. And that goes with kind of what's wrong with the market right now. Why alts are dying is, the retail is either trying to play the gambling over on pump.fun and now just giving money to hackers, or telling you they're going to rug these because they're trying to get their liquidity. Also a lot of the bots are set up to try to take advantage and snipe early launches, which a lot of them become rugs, and people's bots are losing their money as well. So, it's a catch-22. I wish we can get back to utility plays. I wish we can get back to fundamental plays. I wish we can get back to strong communities. And you can't shut down these decentralized tools. They're one of the big advances for this financial market. I know a lot of these tools you guys are used to, and they're like, oh, look at this. But DeFi wasn't a thing like 3-4 years ago. Like, there wasn't, Pancake Swap. There wasn't Uniswap. There wasn't any of this stuff. This is a new technology, and of course, there's going to be people who can find loopholes and gray areas, just like anything in life. But overall, I think it's for the better of the market. Obviously, we've gone up in total market capitalization of crypto and adoption, and the opportunities are there with staking and everything else. But it's unfortunate. This Lazarus Group, obviously, if you're smart enough to hack 1.4 billion, you're going to be smart enough to have exit strategies. And they found a great loophole in pump.fun, which is wild. I guess another reason you should avoid pump.fun for a little bit, because your likelihood of rug just went from 99% to 99.5% because Lazarus is over there trying to extract money as well.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of this 335 million. The one number I saw on one particular coin, they extracted about 27 million from one particular coin. So I don't think all of this is from there. I'm sure they have multiple strategies. Be aware that is one way they're liquidating funds. So like we've had all throughout history, technology is going to be used for good and for bad. At the end of the day, it's up to us as people to use that technology in better ways and to keep improving it. If we just shut down the internet in early days because people were using it for nefarious things, where would we be today? Not in a great place. But anyways. just some food for thought there. And as always, be even more careful than ever using Pump.Fun right now. Something, Hitman, that you have been talking about quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, GameStop deploying a Michael Saylor-like strategy using their cash to buy Bitcoin, and it looks like that is about to start happening here. I saw you posted about this also earlier this week. Give us kind of an update on what's the latest with GameStop and Bitcoin.
Yeah, so GameStop has always been on my list of companies that I think it makes sense for them to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Number one, I'm always looking at cash on hand. And Microsoft has been on my list. They just denied it a couple months ago. Maybe they revisit on my list, tons of cash. But GameStop's been on my list because, yes, they're sitting on $5 billion in cash. They have a stock that has kind of been floundering. Yes, it's seen a resurgence with Roaring Kitty, and it's back in the 20s. But overall, they are a physical location store that is in a sector that makes sense for Bitcoin. Why is that? Because they sell video games, trading card games, and memes for a living, and that fits right in with the culture of crypto and right in with the Bitcoin strategy. Then a couple weeks ago, on a weekend, it was like a Saturday, the CEO of GameStop met with Michael Saylor at a personal residence on a weekend to talk about Bitcoin, strategy around Bitcoin holdings and using capital on hand to buy more Bitcoin and how that has helped their stock market. And then now we saw yesterday, the CEO has been replying to some of these articles. There's articles being leaked that, hey, somebody sent an email over to the CEO, and he replied on Twitter, message received. Now, there's no guarantee. They still need to bring this to the board and vote. And like I said, in December, Microsoft's board voted no. But here's what's different about GameStop. The ownership on that board is heavily favored in the hands of a couple people, one of which being the CEO. He owns a ton of the shares. There's also been news that a couple days ago, one of the insiders of the company bought more shares of GameStop. Is that because he knows something we don't? Is that because he knows there's going to be a Bitcoin reserve? Or maybe he wants higher voting power leading into a major vote like this? So there's no guarantee, but I think $5 billion cash, you're in the sector of memes, video games, trading card games. It fits perfectly. You had meetings with Michael Saylor, and you're looking to revitalize your company's stock price. So I think all that lines up for Bitcoin strategic reserve. Now, the question is, will he get scared out by the dump that we're seeing in Bitcoin? Or will he see this as a great opportunity to get in cheap and ride the wave of Bitcoin for this bull market? Well, I'm siding on the side that he buys it. He gets in, he buys the dip. He gets it in cheaper than even Michael Saylor, the guy who sat down with them, because we know Michael Saylor just bought another $2 billion at $97,000 before this dump. And GameStop can rip and roar, and also this will help your Bitcoin bags pump as well.
Well, everything that you're talking about there, multiple companies coming in, nation states, U.S. obviously with their planned Bitcoin strategic reserve. I've been seeing a lot of people sharing and posting the theory that it is these multinational conglomerations, the BlackRocks, the Fidelities, the State Streets, even think people like GameStop and the U.S. government that are causing this dump and pushing the price of Bitcoin down, because they're all getting ready to make massive moves to put cash into this asset, and they don't want to buy it at 100K. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's any possible credence to a coordinated mass attack between U.S. government, some of these big institutions like BlackRock and these other ETF providers and these major companies working together to push the Bitcoin price down so that they can get in at a good price before things really start to get nuts with multiple states, including the U.S., announcing a Bitcoin strategic reserve?
Yeah, I don't know if they're the ones pushing it now. I don't have that info, but I will tell you, historically, they've done this in traditional markets. Also, historically, Michael Saylor and all these companies are telling you when they are buying billions of worth of Bitcoin, they are trying to do it in stealth mode. They're trying to buy as much Bitcoin without moving the market price higher as they can. That benefits them because they get more tokens. So that's what they've come out and told you. I don't know if that is the reason of this dip, but I will say they've done this kind of quote-unquote nefarious stuff or smart investor stuff in traditional markets. You want to listen not to what they're saying, but what they're doing. If they're fudding it, but they're buying it up, we've seen this with China in previous cycles where they ban it, and then it comes out that they are buying it up or they got more miners online, and then what they're saying, look at what they're doing, and
correct me if I'm wrong, but
we'll see.
That's more or less the basis of the Wyckoff method, is these long accumulation periods where large institutions are using that FUD and that downtime in the market to accumulate as much of the asset as they possibly can for when they pump it, and then they have a long kind of distribution phase at the top of the market. Maybe, or could we be seeing an accumulation phase right now for Bitcoin before the strategic reserve gets announced?
Yeah, so Wyckoff is volume analysis. So it'd be nice to see, Todd, some kind of analysis on some of those. Essentially, the indicators, when they're getting to buy zones, it's because there's heavy volume coming in, heavy buying coming in, but price is holding or going down. So that is telling you that somebody smarter than you, somebody wealthier than you is buying in mass quantity, buying up the dip. And when the selling pressure from the retail market subsides, those big whales are the ones who benefit the most. Price goes up rapidly. And the chart in the volume profile was telling you that was happening. Somebody is accumulating while price is going down. And once the selling subsides or the sellers get exhausted, then that price continues its uptrend. And usually it does that more rapidly depending on the bigger the whales that got involved, as long as they're strong hands, of course. But the thing is, they are looking for longer term, bigger gain plays when they're in these investments. They're not looking to flip it for 10%, 20% gains. They're looking for massive gains, massive outperformance of the market.
Well, if it is a distribution or an accumulation cycle, let's hope it's something we're all smart enough to get ourselves in on. Like you said, watch what they're doing, not what they're saying. This is kind of reminding me of this meme here. I don't know if you've seen this one. It says, "Sellers are getting exhausted." Good quote, the sellers. For those of you that don't know who that is, that's David Goggins, very famous Navy.
He doesn't get tired.
No, he's been on Rogan many times. He's just a savage of a human being. Runs these 200+ mile ultra marathon kind of thing. So obviously the joke there, people are like, sellers are getting exhausted. Maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe not. We'll see.
But one last kind of story here, something we haven't heard about in a long time. I forgot it even exists. I'm sure pretty much everybody watching here at one point or another probably had the Pi Network app on their phone. Pi finally, despite everyone believing it was never going to happen, Pi Network has finally launched a freaking token after 6 years or something like that of millions of people around the world having their little tap miner going, inviting all their friends. I remember all the way back in 2017 or 2018 happened and essentially MLM their way into this token, but they finally launched a token and somehow the Pi Network price jumps 22%. Despite all the scam claims out there. I'm gonna have to check this out. I'm gonna have to see if I can download the app and log in. I've probably got some tokens out there. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I'll have to go look and see what their actual price is. I think a few years ago I checked and I had, maybe 20,000 tokens or something, but I don't know. Have you heard anything about Pi? Is it 100% scam? What's going on here?
My one buddy Connor has been doing Pi for years and always telling me to look at it, whatever, and I just never really did it. I'm like, dude, there's no token yet. So, hey, shout out to you, Connor, because regardless of the price, at least all those tokens, you'll be able to do something with it. But I did see that the info that people were calling a scam. I didn't really look too deep into it because I'm not deep in that ecosystem. But if the scam allegations are true, you happen to tap away for years and years and years, you probably want to get those tokens, cash in for some money, and then, find the exit door on the way out, delete the app.
I gotta say, not a bad looking chart here. $2.25, print pumping.
But is that real? Because what's crazy is that is saying it has a 23 billion valuation.
I can't imagine.
I don't know
what
markets is that on?
It looks like it's on OKX. $351 million in 24-hour trading volume.
Hey.
Gates got almost $500 million in 24-hour trading. BIC had another 350. MEXC another 200.
There's
legit
liquidity.
to me, but
Right.
I'm gonna have to download this app. If I've got 20,000 tokens, I'm gonna have to go cash that shit in.
You're gonna look at that. They're like, oh, we did a 1,000 to 1 ratio or something crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I had those points. Who knows whether or not those points equate to tokens or not, but. I'll have an update for you next week on the mid-market update. Did I cash in? Did I get rich on some Pi Network tokens? Or am I just one of the many asshats that wasted my time a few years ago for $5?
Tapping away.
I can't imagine, because I haven't played around with it for years, and I certainly didn't have that many tokens compared to a lot of other people. So, if I had 20,000 points, and those equate to tokens, it's almost $50,000 in tokens. I can't imagine, me being at the very bottom of their list of point holders. I can't imagine people out there with hundreds of thousands, millions of people with hundreds of thousands airdrop. That sounds kind of insane to me.
Yeah. Well, that valuation looks insane when you got scam allegations, but up 43% today. So I'll have to hit up my buddy Connor and try to get some info for the midweek update on what the point equation is. Can you even sell it? Is it the same Pi network? What is going on? Hey, you made hundreds of thousands, but now they have their social security number. I don't know what's going on with Pi network.
Yeah. Hey, if you're listening right now, if you participated in this in the Pi project, leave us a comment. Whether you're watching it live right now or you watch this later, let us know. Is it worth checking out? Is it worth downloading their app? Was it as simple as claiming your tokens, or did you have to go through a whole KYC process? What's the deal with the Pi network token? I'm gonna be doing a little digging myself. And hopefully my wallets don't get liquidated because it's a scam. And so we'll see what happens. We'll report back on that with a whole new week's worth of drama in the crypto markets. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, like, share, retweet. It really, really helps out the channel. Shout out to Bybit for the sponsorship. And if you haven't downloaded the Crypto Paradise mini app yet, link is in our bio on Telegram and on Twitter. Right now, we've got an airdrop for $25,000 worth of Tordes, which will be launching soon. We also will be making some very, very special announcements around Crypto Paradise. Some of you already know that are in on the secret. A big way for you to be a part of that upcoming opportunity is going to be getting active in that mini app and building up some points in there. So if you haven't joined the mini app, it's completely free to use. It's games to play in there. It's daily tasks. You can interact with all of our projects and sort of engagement farm some points for yourself. Get into weekly crypto giveaways. We're giving away thousands and thousands of dollars in there already. We've got airdrops going on in there. We've got the grand prize bag, which is worth over $40,000. We'll be giving away later in the bull run. So do not sleep on the Crypto Paradise Telegram mini app. Check out the new website if you want to get some alpha on what's coming up for Crypto Paradise. And for me, that's all I got for you this week. Helmet, anything else from you?
That's it. I guess we'll see you on the beach, and stay tuned. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button because we're going to be putting out a lot of recorded content, a lot of text content as the markets continue to heat up. And, of course, if you want that opportunity Nate is hinting at there, I think it's a big opportunity. You need to follow along. You need to get active. That's how you're going to really win in this situation. And hopefully we can all ride the wave together of this bull market.
Absolutely, guys. And as always, another great example in the last couple of weeks.